You have reached an important milestone in your graduate program, writing your master's thesis or dissertation. And this presentation provides clarification on the roles of your committee chair and committee members, including you, as well as how to handle particular problems you could face during the process. I want you to explain the similarities and differences among the roles of committee chair and committee members, and recall solutions to potential committee problems. Your chair will have broad power and influence over your dissertation or thesis process. And while the specifics of this role vary from institution to institution, from department to department, and from chairperson to chairperson, some general functions of the chair are universal. The chair will be selected on the basis of content expertise. This should include your topic interest or subject matter expertise, experience in guiding students through a dissertation or thesis, and methodology expertise. Your chair is responsible for guiding you to produce original scholarship in the proposed topic area. First, your chairperson is going to be familiar with the policies and procedures for writing a thesis or dissertation through the School of Graduate Studies and through the ASTE department. We're going to guide you in setting realistic timelines for completing your work and for helping you select the methods that are appropriate for answering your research question and addressing your research problem, including how to collect your data and to analyze it. Your chairperson is going to approve every line, section, and chapter of a thesis or a dissertation. We're going to guide you to achieve the highest level of technical and ethical quality in research, and we're going to help determine how committee members will be involved in the dissertation or thesis process. For example, I guide a lot of graduate students in evaluations of extension programs, and I frequently have the outside committee chair be our extension evaluation specialist or the director of the 4-H program or the Create Better Health program or another area of extension. And I usually have that person be the expert on the topic and knowing their program or knowing what they want to do for evaluation. I many a times have the experience in guiding a student through the entire process of a thesis and dissertation, and frequently I'm asked to be a committee member because of my expertise in methodology and data analysis. Knowing those types of roles and where you serve can really help to know how you work with each committee member. Your chairperson's going to also decide when you're ready to defend your dissertation or master's thesis, and ultimately the chair will determine whether you'll be granted the degree. Your committee members give you the direction and assistance you need to complete a thesis or dissertation, but that responsibility does not mean that they're supposed to do any of the work for you. It does mean that they should be available to you within the limits of their responsibilities. As members of faculty, we're often responsible to the university to uphold academic standards at the institution. We're a Tier Research 1 institution with high expectations for success in grants and publications and the mentoring of graduate students. This means that we can't accept careless work just to enable you to finish your degree. As researchers and as educators, we feel responsible to the larger profession. We want to ensure that a thesis or a dissertation makes a significant contribution to professional knowledge. And as professors, we do feel responsible to ourselves and for our career advancement. We have our own standards of quality, and we have to make sure that not only are we helping you, but we're advancing our careers as we move up through promotion. All members of your committee share a responsibility in ensuring that you produce high-quality scholarship. Committee members are responsible for reading every manuscript with an agreed-upon time frame. Typically, we give 14 days to review a document, and we suggest substantial editing changes, and we provide a rationale to support our ideas and our critiques. Committee members who perceive major flaws that are likely to result in your unsuccessful defense discuss these concerns with your chair and will work on helping address any issues. We tend to do that privately and not at the defense or in front of other committee members. Committee members' responsibilities also include advising you from the pre-proposal and the proposal stage through the final defense of your thesis or dissertation. And they provide you subject matter expertise and will read drafts and provide meaningful feedback, guiding you as a candidate in selecting your methods and procedures for data collection and analysis. Will assist in the actual data collection or the analysis, and sometimes we correspond with your chair as needed for clarification or resolution of any issues that we see during the process of working through your thesis or dissertation. Each committee is going to vary somewhat. It depends on the personalities of members. However, there are 3 well-documented features of academic life that clearly have an impact on committee dynamics, and I would like to share those 3 with you. First, academic life is hierarchical. Committee members are hierarchical. They reflect on the status and distinctions of academic life. Full professors are at the top of the hierarchy. Tenured associate professors come next, followed by non-tenured assistant or associate professors. And assistant professors have lower status, except for graduate students who do have the lowest status of all. The length of our service at the university can also affect our dynamics and how we work together. Faculty who have had longer periods of service tend to receive higher status than those with lesser periods of service. So if your chair is an associate professor and a committee member is a full professor, that status distinction might complicate relationships, and you might need to talk about how to address comments and feedback from committee members and what needs to be done to resolve issues when there's conflicting ideas. And the harsh fact is, because you do have a lower status of all, you don't have the power to just ignore committee recommendations and discussions and decisions. You have to learn how to take that feedback and incorporate it into your ideas. And it goes beyond just thinking about your chair. You have to be respectful of all of your committee members and what they contribute to your learning experience. Committee members come together only infrequently, and usually at or prior to defenses. This feature means that you're going to have to find ways of working with them as individuals and not as groups. When I am the methodology or statistics expert on a committee, I meet separately with my graduate student and help them think through the methodology, the implementation, the data collection, and then the analysis. I do let the chair know where we're at and what we're doing, and if we come up with any questions or concerns as we work through that process. But a lot of it is knowing that your chair's appointed and suggested certain committee members because they're really experts in the topic area and know what they're doing and can provide you the feedback necessary to be successful. But we don't typically do it as a group. We typically do it as individuals working one-on-one. The structure of your committee means that your chair is clearly in charge, and then the other committee members have roles that assist while also acknowledging the authority of a chair. It's your chair's reputation that's on the line when your thesis or dissertation is reviewed by other faculty, by the graduate school, or by external members of the profession. This might explain why we are really rigidly structured in asking you to do certain things. Let's talk about some characteristics of the desirable student. When we work with graduate students, we like to see students who can independently set and stick work schedules and share those with the chairs to help track the progress that needs to be made to complete a dissertation or thesis. We also like students who can work for long periods of time without close monitoring or direction. I like to do a weekly check-in with my students as we work through the dissertation or thesis process, making sure that we stay on track with deadlines and feedback and debriefing about the progress made on a proposal or on a thesis or dissertation. We want students who can understand the complexities of the research issue or problem, but are also really sensitive to faculty priorities, giving them time to review a document in 2 weeks and then sending out that feedback and giving time to review that feedback and making the necessary corrections. A thesis or dissertation is an iterative process that's back and forth on many drafts of every chapter. And so it's really important for students to have that go-get-em attitude, that can take feedback, that can work through the writing process, that can ask questions and ask for clarification, but not get frustrated by the fact that you're getting constructive feedback that's going to help improve your overall project. You need to understand your limitations and use of your research method that's selected to study your research problem. And you need to be able to critique or synthesize the research of others when writing a literature review. And most importantly, be willing to accept our guidance and follow through on suggestions and criticisms by committee members. You want to use your committee's time effectively. I like to have my graduate student send me a document to review. I'll review it typically in 1 week. I usually give 2 weeks for chapter 2 and chapter 3. Just because they're more in depth than a proposal. Then I like to schedule a time after I've had time to review and send back my feedback to debrief and talk to the graduate student about what was really well done as well as things that need to be edited. Then I have the student propose what task will be accomplished and then what the deadline will be for making any necessary revisions. I don't like to be surprised. I don't think any committee member likes to be surprised where somebody just shows up, sits down in your office and hands you a proposal chapter to read or emails you a chapter and expects immediate feedback. We have to be respectful of our other commitments in our jobs, as well as the time needed to read the document, to reflect, and to provide thoughtful feedback, as well as edits to APA style and formatting, and making sure that we're following all the guidelines of the graduate school in our department. We want students prepared to write multiple drafts, really reflecting on the edits and refining their understanding of the research problem. And then ideally, we know that the end outcome is a student who produces really good quality thesis or dissertation work in a reasonable time period. So the key to positive relationships with a committee is preventing problems before they occur. And you can do this in several ways, and I'd like to discuss ways that will deal with the most common problems that we have seen within the ASTE graduate program. If you do not receive feedback that's prompt, it's okay to talk to your chair about how much time is usually required to read drafts. 2 weeks seems to be the norm in our department. Ask what the editing process will entail too. And if you don't hear from them or hear from your chair for a while, it is appropriate to send just a general reminder email asking for feedback on the material and what are the next steps. And if it persists, just consider asking to discuss the matter face-to-face or through a video meeting so it doesn't prolong your opportunity to finish. And you could propose it as, what can I do to help with the review of my proposal? And then we might find ways that we could work more efficiently, or we could find some things that we could be improving on in the writing process that's delaying an easy review of a document, such as missing sources, incorrect information, misuse of a research methodology or data analysis process that then takes the chair longer to read that content, provide thoughtful feedback, and then perhaps resources that could improve on the understanding of that methodology or that data analysis process. And that's not done within just minutes. That usually takes time. If you get feedback that's just really general or not very productive, then it's okay to ask for more specifics. Don't just rely on your chair to tell you what to do. Seek out advice when you're not sure of what to do because you're not quite understanding what you're being asked of you. This also goes for committee comments, making sure that you understand what your committee members say. So what I like to tell my students is after the proposal defense and then after the final defense of your thesis or dissertation, I request to sit down with them either through a video call or face-to-face and then go through the feedback from the committee members. And we agree on what needs to be corrected and where we can make improvements. And we talk about a game plan for what has to be accomplished to move to the next step. And I find that this is a great way to review my expectations of what would be edited, as well as to make sure that we're both understanding what committee chairs and committee members are wanting for revisions. If you happen to receive conflicting advice from two members of your committee, that is a matter that should go to your chair. You can ask for assistance and what should be done. Ultimately, it is the chair's decision as how well things are corrected before you move to submitting your proposal to the institutional review board or to submitting your final thesis or dissertation to the School for Graduate Studies. I talk with the committee members and discuss how we can handle the conflicting information so it doesn't delay the process. Sometimes we can come to an agreement on what needs to be added or clarified in the document, or maybe a research objective that's removed, and it's just a matter of having a collegial conversation that then can help guide you through the process easier. Lastly, when you have revised the document according to the committee suggestions, make sure you send an email to your chair letting them know the revised document is available to review. I like to ask committee members to email my graduate student and me any comments, or for the graduate student to scan any written comments as a PDF and to email them to me. Then I actually access those comments and review their feedback as I'm reading the revised document. I check off and ensure that things are being met. And when I don't see something addressed as well as it should be, I can take note of that and then request further revisions and make reference to the comment of the committee member or chair so that we are really being respectful of the involvement of the committee and their ideas and making sure that the product reflects that. I do feel like you need to make sure that you're notifying your chair and that you're providing all the information necessary so that the chair can guide you in the process. It's not uncommon that only the committee members email you corrections and edits. They might not share the document with your chair. So it's a really great way to overcome that situation is emailing it and then having that meeting immediately after a proposal defense or the final defense and making some decisions as to what is expected for edits and what those revisions will look like and what the deadlines can be. Well, remember to take care of yourself during this thesis or dissertation process. Get adequate sleep, eat well, exercise, and take care of you. Because with you being well, you will be more successful at writing a dissertation or a thesis. If you have any questions or comments, please contact me through Canvas inbox, and I look forward to working with you in ASTE 6100 or 7100 in the process of writing your pre-proposal and your proposal, or your proposal that you will defend with your chair and committee. Thank you.